Yes, people, welcome to the Real Talk Football TV Premier League debate show. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Got Tobias and myself, Shaq. Tobias 0-0, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. If I want to go first, please God, can I have my hour and a half back, please? That was absolutely shocking. How bad have both teams fallen from grace? Both teams have fallen off a cliff. It was poor quality. Chelsea should have won, really. And guys, started off with Chelsea. Do they have to bring back Lukaku? Does that have to work? Because they need a striker. They would have won 3-0 today if they had a forward.
Bro, like, if they had Lukaku, I don't think they would be in the position now this year. You can say whatever you want about Lukaku, but he scores goals. And it's clear today that they just lack. And it's clear not just today, previous games, that they just lack that ruthlessness in front of goal. Someone to put the ball in the back of the net. Where's the goal scorers? Like, Felix is not he's not an outrageous goal scorer. Havertz isn't.
Is Havertz overrated? Because I think
the three midfielders aren't. I feel sorry for Havertz, but then how can you? Because he cost how much money he did. But he's been the one that's been sort of tasked with the job of being the number 9.
Yeah,
and
but
it just doesn't suit him. It just doesn't suit him at all.
Tobias, but don't you think his numbers should be better than what they are over? He's been this must be close to his 4th season. I don't think he's got more than 10 league goals in 4 years. If he's going to play as a number 10, his output needs to be a lot better. I think he's so overrated. I don't know what he actually does good. I heard he was supposed to be the new Ballack, but there's nothing about him. He doesn't have personality about him. He can't score goals. He's not consistent. He's up and down. He'll show flashes of quality. But I think for £90 million, I think he's bang average. I think one thing with Chelsea, and I think it's football snobbery. Tobias, if you put Ivan Toney in that Chelsea team, do they win that game today?
Oh, easily.
100%.
Easily.
100%.
But to be honest, the problem is that no one in that team is a goal scorer.
Yeah.
Whereas you put Felix in the United team, probably works better because all our wingers want to cut in and shoot. Their wingers, fullbacks want to get down the line and cross it in. So it's not working. The whole formula is not there. How they spend all that money and still can't buy a striker is madness.
But they spent all that money.
Bring the nobody else can score. You know what? I'll bring you back. Huh?
I'm saying that they've spent all this money on players, but none of them have got pedigree of naturally consistently scoring goals. So it's like they're all looking at each other to get the goal, but there's no one who's got a pedigree of getting goals on a consistent basis. And
we can say about Havertz, but I look at Enzo sometimes and I think to myself, does Enzo do a better job than what Jorginho used to do? Same.
He's a younger Jorginho.
Does he do anything?
I thought he was good today. I think he links the play. I think the price tag's killing him. I think he's a very, very good footballer. He dictates the tempo of a football match. But for 105 million, in my opinion, when you're spending over 100 million, I want game changers. I don't want controlling players. I want players who can win games for me by themselves. Over 100 million, I want the Haalands. Yeah, I want the Haalands and the Mbappes. They're game changers. £100 million for a controlling midfield player is bonkers to me, but he's a very good player. I like him.
No, I think he's a good player, but again, it's what does he do extra than what Jorginho wasn't giving you? Especially if Jorginho would have had Kante, then it makes all the difference because he does about 3 man's running. Yeah. And for as long as he's been out today, your midfield is terrible.
Well, we're gonna come to Liverpool. Let's say a little bit on Chelsea. Yeah, say if a new manager comes in, say someone like Zidane comes in, he might want to spend another £500 million because I look at their players. Are the players what they bring in better than the ones they've let go or the ones who are there already? Because I don't see anybody who's going to be, you know what, apart from Enzo, who's going to be, you know what, a new manager comes in and they're going to build the team around that player. I look at them and I think if Zidane comes in, he'd be like, these guys ain't good enough. I want them all gone and we need to scrap it again. That's why I think Nagelsmann is the best one because he would coach a team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, they're not going to take a manager that's going to want another transfer budget because that's not sustainable for them, isn't it? They've set their stall out with these players, and that's what because they're all young players, and they've invested in youth, and it's waiting for them to become more cohesive. And in fairness, that's the only thing I can defend about Chelsea is that they haven't got that team ethic. They haven't had that time to gel yet, and you can see it. And I think that's and obviously part of being a manager initially, he hasn't got the experience to be able to pull a dressing room together. And that's probably where it failed him. But does Nagelsmann have that? And we're still forgetting that. I reckon this needs the experienced coach. This needs a Rafa type. They won't get Rafa, don't get me wrong, but they need that type of an Ancelotti, that type of experience.
Yeah, I think someone like Ancelotti.
Players have got to respect the manager as well, and I think that's initially what they first got to get in a manager that comes in that the players respect, and then that's the start of it.
I think Jose Mourinho,
bro, like Jose. Nah, you can't bring.
Nah. I'm moving mad. No way.
You went mad.
No way.
But the problem is, with a team like Chelsea has gone through so many managers already. You look at the league in itself. There's 12 managers been sacked this season. 12 in 20 teams.
That's mad.
For me, I reckon I'm not a Chelsea fan, so it's easy for me to say. But you are down in the dirt anyway, so you might as well just stuck it out with Potter and see where it takes you. If that's the project that you invested in,
Potter's
the season was a write-off anyway.
Tobias Potter's trash. He can't. You know what? I think a manager. Tell you the truth, I think a manager who goes in there and coaches them and makes them better. I know he hasn't got the experience, but someone like a Thomas Frank at Brentford, I think he.
Now you're falling into the Potter trap again. This is the problem.
But there's no other managers out there because I think Tobias. If the thing is, if they go for experienced manager, they won't want these players. So if someone like a Zidane comes in, he look at these players and go, "These players are dead. I want them all gone, and I want to spend another £300 million." Where Chelsea have basically said, "We've spent our money for the next 3 years, so we need a manager to come in to make these players better." So someone like a Thomas Frank will do a job. I don't see Zidane coming in. He will look at that squad and think, "I can't win a league or a Champions League with these type of players. They ain't good enough. They're going to kill me, and I end up getting a sack."
But the turnover of managers now is not sustainable going forward. There's not that many managers coming through.
Yeah,
you can't, so now you've got to set it out as a project. It's got to be. We spoke about how many teams are vying for the top 4 position in itself. You're looking at about 7-8 teams now that potentially could be challenging for top 4. So people have got to accept, manager or directors have got to accept that we might have a season at the Champions League. And all this running for Champions League anyway, I'm not a fan of. Right? Because everyone wants to chase Champions League and not win it. A lot of the teams. And then moan that their board don't invest the money back into the club when you know all you're doing is getting them to get more money. So that chase is dead. There's not enough turnover. There's not enough managers out there for this turnover of management. Where's everyone going?
100%. Talking about Champions League, Liverpool. Will Liverpool make the Champions League? Because I think they won't. I think we'll end up being 8th. I think we're terrible. I looked at that game today. We were all over the place. I just don't see any sort of. I don't see anything. I think a team that's just given up. I think a team that's just it's finished. A team that needs a rebuild. And I personally think this is Liverpool's biggest transfer window in their history because they need about 6 players. And it would be interesting to see if they get the players. Because if they don't, I want Klopp to come out and say, the owners haven't backed me. Just do a rant and get himself sacked. Because if this happens this time next year, I can't deal with this because it feels like Klopp is immune to criticism. This happens next year, he needs to go. Simple as.
But obviously, does it depend on the players he gets in?
If he gets the players he gets, if he gets his players and he says these are my players and I want all these players and we struggle, then 100%. But I think this is Liverpool's biggest transfer in their history. They need to spend no 100 and 200 million. They need to spend maybe 300 over 300 million pound plus player sales. We're 6 players short. This team's finished, and you can see it on Klopp's face.
If he doesn't though, say if he doesn't get the money that, what are you saying, 300 mil minimum?
No, I think more, 350 plus player sales. So it could be 400.
We say 300 minimum, yeah, because you're not known to spend that type of money. Let's just say 300 minimum.
But that's what I'm saying. It's got to be there. Go on.
But what if he doesn't get it?
He needs to come out and he needs to resign because he's going to get sacked.
He needs to come out because we know. So he doesn't need to come out. So would you
resign?
Would you not rather entrust Klopp with that job of taking you forward regardless of transfer fund, then go for someone else?
No.
Who are you gonna go for?
I would rather him. Listen, I don't care about the managers. For his sake, for his legacy, I would rather him resign, and he can, and the Liverpool fans can make their own minds up why he's left, and we will all know, and it'll be a World War III, and then we can get these owners out, and then that you never know he can come back. He needs the funds. He deserves the funds to start the rebuild. If it goes wrong, then yes, serious questions. He's under serious pressure, but he needs massive financial backing. They are 6 or 7 players short, and I think he's basically said there's only 3 players who are basically safe. This team's done. Chelsea had a striker. It would have been another 4-1. How Man City were. They just needed someone who could put the ball in it. We were terrible. We never looked like scoring.
If I go back to a couple of podcasts when you lot said that you'd get rid of Mo, you'd sell Mo for the rebuild, yeah. You cannot think about selling Mo, bro. Like, you lot were toothless today. Like, terrible. Jota ain't it. I'm sorry. Chilwell had cigars out. Jota ain't it.
He's come back from injury. I think he's better through the middle, but go on.
Yeah, he might be better through the middle, but then you got Gakpo. Who would you prefer down the middle, Gakpo or Jota?
Gakpo.
Then it's not Gakpo. Then Nunes has got to be looking like, I've got to be playing through the middle.
He's a sub. Nunes is a sub at the moment. Like you know what? It's not even that I feel for him because he's got pace and power, but I look at our wingers and I don't want to compare him to Mane because Mane is an all-time great Liverpool player, but none of them have got trickery. There's a bag of runners. Like, they're just running straight lines. They can't dribble. They'll run in behind. But when it's a bit tight where you need to like drop a step over and get half a yard, none of them can do it. I look at us, we just look spineless everywhere, bar the goalkeeper.
You still got Diaz to come back.
And Konaté. Yeah, and Konaté. But at the moment, Diaz is not playing, and we don't know if he's going to come back again. He's had 2 bad knee injuries. And when you have knee injuries, most times you're not the same player. But only Konaté and Alisson are the only ones where you could think, you know what, they're okay. The rest of them, and Salah as well, because no matter what, I was moving mad. Salah gets numbers, and he's maybe had an off-season, he's still got 25 goals. You look at the rest of them, they look terrible. They look done. They look lack of energy, and you don't think they'll come back again next year. It feels like these guys need to be replaced. We're in dire straits. I don't know who's in a worse position. Personally, I think Liverpool in a worse position because at the end of the day, Chelsea will throw money at it. It'll be interesting if we'll see in the summer if Liverpool throw money at it. They have to.
I think you got in a worse position because I think Chelsea have started their rebuild and all they need to do is add a couple more players to it. If they all click and work out. But you look at Mudryk, could Mudryk be another Havertz?
Well, he could be. It's hard. I was quite impressed when he came on. To be fair, he showed a lot of pace and power. I think there's a player there, but I think he got a bit of a. I think he's got a culture shock where the Premier League is a different beast in a sense of you don't think you're just going to come here and do bits. Personally, I think he made the wrong move. I think he should have held out for Arsenal. But I think Liverpool in a worse position because I think Chelsea will throw money at it. And I think they're not far. Chelsea are not far off. I look at their players. If they can get rid of a couple, they're only 3 players short from really challenging. And there will be a different beast next year because they won't be in Europe. And the last time they came 10th, what happened? They won the league the next year. So
Yeah.
if they can get the right manager in, I think they'll be fine. And I think Liverpool need to do the same thing. Come 8th. If it's not 4th, just come 8th or 9th. So we can have one game a week, and that's when you can rebuild the team properly.
No, I don't like that though, because Europa, you can still breed some youngsters into Europa.
Yeah, but I just think we just need a proper rebuild in a sense of one game a week. The manager can coach his players for the whole week. You're going to bring in basically 4, 5, 6 new players. I just think that they need to be on the coaching pitch to know how we're going to play, pattern of play, because at the end of the day, there's no bedded in before where Liverpool were flying. We could have Fabinho and he could be on the bench for 3 or 4 months and ease his way in. The new players are coming into play. They're not. There's no bedded in period. They're coming straight in the team because everybody else is terrible. So they would have to play straight away. So in my opinion, I think if they came 8th or 9th, and I don't hear about this motion, and I hear stupid journalists and pundits, if you're not in Champions League, load of rubbish.
No,
if Tottenham are in for a player and Liverpool are in for the same player, 99.9% of the time they're coming Liverpool. They're coming Liverpool. If Casemiro can come to Man United when they're in Europa League, it's all about if you pay them right and you sell them the project, they are coming. So I think that's a load of rubbish. So if they can get their players in one game a week, I think we could challenge. I'm saying we'll win the league, but we could definitely challenge if we get one game a week. If we get Europe, I think it's another season of misery. But yeah, Tobias, I'll leave it to the last word to you.
What is it then? Where are you leaving the Arsenal game?
What I think? Well, I think what's going to happen. I think Arsenal are going to wipe the floor of us. I think Arsenal will win 3-1. I think they give away the chances that they gave to Chelsea. Arsenal are too ruthless. I think Saka, Martinelli, Jesus up front, the way they're playing, and football's about confidence. You played against 3 forward players are all flying. They're flying. Jesus has come back scoring 2. Saka to me has been the player of the season, if you in a sense of the best player this year. Saka and Martinelli's not too far behind. I just don't see how we stop them. I think they march on. I think if Liverpool beat them, I think Man City will win the league. But I think if Arsenal win, and I expect them to win, I think Arsenal will go on and win the league because I just don't see no one beating them at the moment. They are the best team in the league. Man City have got the best players, but they are the best team. In possession, out of possession, I think they're fantastic.
And Trossard was a great signing.
Great signing. They dodged a bullet in Mudryk. Trossard's a lot better.
Cheaper, half the money.
And he
already
knows
the league. Perfect signing. Yeah. He's bedded in quite well. I like Trossard as well.
100%. All right, guys. Who do you think's in bigger trouble? Is it Liverpool or Chelsea? Do you think Liverpool will get into the top 4? Tobias, last word.
How can Man U get spanked by Newcastle and you don't mention it for the whole thing? I'm living nice right now.
I don't even care about that. We're crap. on that note, I forgot all about it. On that note, we are Real Talk Football TV and we are out.